show's not on. Last time I checked, I don't know. It could be an interesting thing.
God, I gotta bone up my vamping. I'm so overfull from dinner, and that was like an hour and a half ago. How could I still be so overfull? I didn't even feel like I ate that much. Well, we just got one order of ramen. It was super good, and I love ramen. But jeepers, it's been a long time, I guess, since I've had any. I feel like the SS Tom Kerr.
I'm assuming this is proper ramen and not like Mr. Noodle.
What kind of ramen are you eating that's that filling?
Well, I mean, like if you get real ramen and it's big and there's lots of it. Then...
No, I know. I love real ramen. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I also like, the last few weeks I've been trying to eat less by way of trying to be less of the SS Tom Kerr in general. And so, it may be also partly that, just after 3 weeks of portion control, all of a sudden I feel like I've eaten enough to, get me through the week.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I feel like I can't eat enough because I work out now, and it's just... I'm back to that whole thing where it's like I'm constantly hungry. It's annoying. Right. Everything takes energy.
I don't know. I'm not watching what I eat, but I'm not ballooning. Can't be bothered these days with everything.
Well,
that's
still settling in, technically.
That food talk is a good way to bring us into the Metal Lab. We're live this week. Joined this week by myself in, yes, a tank top. It's hot here. Screw off. With Tom.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm also hot.
Yeah, but Tom's hot in a different way.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to us, Tom.
Boy, I really yes-anded that one.
Yeah. And also, after a long absence and missing for a little while, but we found him in the wilderness, we dusted him off, and we brought him back on the show, it's Jay!
I only missed 1 week.
It's been a couple of weeks.
And suddenly you file
it's been like 3 weeks.
Report?
Yeah.
What?
It's 2 days we filed the missing persons report, and you were gone for you were gone for 3 weeks, man.
Maybe acoustics in here are better. I don't know. Do you want a tight room or an open room? I don't know.
You definitely bonded with that pack of dogs we found you with. All right. That said, I think we're finally coming down from the whole Fantastic Four thing. Did everybody get a chance to open up some stuff and have some fun?
Yeah, I got my God Emperor. I didn't get my title Mr. Fantastic, but I did get God Emperor Doom. So.
Well, I can tell you have access to one at worst case scenario. I mentioned it with Amber on the Married Lab. I set a personal land speed record for this collection. In less than 24 hours, every single figure I needed for the set was at minimum on its way to my house. Wow. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jay, did you get any yet, or get what you wanted out of it yet?
Opened a case, basically sold everything. Basically broke even, kept a couple super rares, but I have Earth X Thing and Wolverine, which is important. The chase was Valeria, which was meh. So
I disagree. That's awesome.
No, I meant for me personally, because the whole not playing thing. No. I'm not that stupid, but just for me, I'm getting in the mindset of I play less, and even if I do, it's probably sealed, or I'll borrow, or it's popper.
Fair enough. All right. That said, I had a bit of a week in Heroclix when it comes down. I played a lot of Heroclix this week, as a matter of fact, because this week we had our sealed event at Dolly's. We had 8 people, including myself and the owner. So we locked the door. A couple people actually came in to buy Heroclix that we weren't prepared for. So we had to kind of let them in one at a time because we are on strict limits. Group gatherings no more than 10 in Ontario right now, and masks being required in Mississauga and whatnot. But it was a lot of fun. It was a little bit weird because we did have 2 mirror bricks that we were pulling from, it turns out. So everybody who opened packs for the sealed had a pack that matched somebody else's pack in the building. It was really weird. But the Frightful Four ended up winning with a Blastar and a double member. So it was 150 point Blastar and 2 other Frightful Fours. So 3 Frightful Fours won. But there's quite a few Frightful Four teams out there. 2 Silver Surfers got pulled in a group of 8. So
wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't pull one into the case and a brick.
Yeah.
Yep, and apparently he's $30 or something.
Which the rarest of rares. So Yeah, and
I'm very, very satisfied with the starter one, to be fair. So I can live without the rare for a while.
Defender's team ability is a big thing, yeah.
So, and I also played on the buy, so I played like a suboptimal choices from my sealed. Like, I had the option to play the uncommon Nova, and Mike's vein in his head just grew when he heard that, because apparently he hates Nova, so... But I didn't end up playing her anyway, so... Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. The sealed was really interesting for the set. And I know not a lot of people are going to get out there, so they probably want to hear more details. I think me and Amber on the Married Lab are going to come out and kind of share those details, as it were. I don't have great details because a lot of my games are interrupted by the occasional judge question. We're going to talk about what caused that in a couple minutes, or later on in the show, because we are doing some cartography. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you now, Aunt Petunia's map is a judge's nightmare. Also played 2 rounds since we last talked of the Critical Clicks Kilted Klassic. So I got 2 more rounds in. Round 3, I played the Red Onslaught. Just that at 300 points. I was up against an X-Men team. An X-Men team. I had the Con Storm, the Deep Cuts Danger, Pixie, and a pair of Shadowcats. Even though the score was 300-0, it was a close as hell game. I think about halfway through the game, I was on my last 2 clicks of Red Onslaught, and I had to hide him in a corner with my Sentinel Pogs. It was scary towards the end. It even got scarier when he was down to just his Shadowcat against my, I had 2 Pogs out and the Red Onslaught, and one of my Pogs critically missed, and I was like, I'm not going out like this, and I just walked up with Red Onslaught next to, because this Shadowcat was on her last click,
right.
And I just walked up to her, I was like, I'm not doing it like this, and poisoned to the end, because I was like, I'm not letting the dice do this to me. Unfortunately, the game is on the channel, but unfortunately, I didn't check the mic, and I have this nasty habit of turning on OBS without checking if I plugged in my mic ahead of time. If I don't do that, you don't hear me. So apologies for that. I also just realized I still have the same settings from when I did that, and I should turn the chat back on. So if you are live, I have just re-enabled the chat, so refresh should work now.
Remember when we talked about engagement?
Yeah, I did. We came in talking about engagement. I was like, they can't engage if they can't chat.
I think we were actually making a joke at the time, so
yeah.
it's on brand.
Yep. Our jokes became reality. So yeah, my 3rd round game, I squeaked it out. My 4th round game was something of a mirror match. It's a great minds think alike sort of situation. Well, I would never... Full seldom differ as well, is also how that comes out, too. It's my opponents turned around and said, we're either both really dumb or both really smart. And I was like, I've never been accused of being really smart, so... Sorry, man.
Hey, it might have been his worst idea and your best. That's also possible.
Who knows? My opponent was Alex. I've actually met him at Worlds. Great person. This is not my first time I played against him. First time I played against him was the 3rd round of Worlds in Memphis last year. He was playing a Medusa Swarm against my robot team. He actually turned to me and was like, you had that really weird armor or robot themed team or something. I was like, yeah, that was me. And we come to this one, and I'm playing, for my team, I used the Rebirth Lex Luthor at 100 points, 75-point Invisible Woman and 75-point Mr. Fantastic, along with a 50-point Lex Luthor, which we later discovered was supposed to be on the ban list, but it was listed under the wrong number, so I completely blanked on it. Oops, we all kind of missed that. PJ missed it on my team check. I missed it. I didn't realize that figure number 54 Batman Animated is actually Joker, not Lex Luthor. So
you cheated is weird.
So
by accident.
It wasn't
Cheated by
Christmas in
accident.
July?
That was my team. Basically, my goal was hard to kill scientists. My opponent, Alex, was also playing a scientist-themed team with the 200-point Lex Luthor, along with Jordi LaForge and Dr. Catherine Pulaski and the Cosmic Cube. It was a tough, thinking battle. We had to make every move had to count and be in everything had to be the most intelligent move possible. Not that Heroclix isn't already that, but one slight mistake in this game and you're gonna feel it. I knew to a certain degree that I did have to kind of give up the goat and let something get shot. For some reason, I thought Mr. Fantastic would be the ideal choice of that. Thank God it didn't bite me in the butt.
He is the GOAT.
He was great. Long story short, the video is up and actually has my audio this time. But I'll just try to kind of quickly go through it. It really came down to the fact that the first attack that he made was against my Mr. Fantastic, who missed his shape change but hit his super senses. So even though he was hit, I was okay. He did this on a hypersonic, so ran away from my team, but unfortunately left Jordy exposed because Jordy had to get into position for probability control. I then capitalized, killed the Jordy, and then afterwards I broke. We were playing in the Avengers Mansion, which was my choice map, and I broke a couple walls with my Sue Storm, broke a wall with my Sue Storm, perplexed up my Lex Luthor. Used Mr. and this was really the difference maker, because the Lex Luthor is protected at wit. Mr. Fantastic has that. That's fine. I have non-outwit to get rid of that.
Yeah. Even better than outwit.
Yeah, as long as you're a higher point than him, and because he was playing a 200-point character, I did have those points. So I was able to actually get his Luthor in one shot down to the same, down one click below where I was. Then he hit my Luthor, so we're now at the same click. But if you actually think of that in a point scale lead, I had the lead because he paid 200 points and I'm losing a piece of 100 points in my head. So I was I was a little bit more relaxed. I locked down, he did try to heal with Pulaski and failed the support roll. Thank God.
That's why you need Gawa there.
Yeah. And
missed opportunity, if you ask me.
And from there, I did my best to keep Pulaski based with my Lex Luthor, so that support just couldn't happen. And then he got the Luthor out of danger, which actually allowed me to move my Mr. Fantastic into position, take away the defense power, and get one shot off with the with my Luthor, and finish the game. He only had his Pulaski left. There was really no point in playing it out because a 0-point character isn't going to damage my team. So, I'm going into the 5th round of this, still in the winners bracket. So it's been really exciting. It's really pushed my creativity. And some of these teams I look at and go, there's some potential here. Like the team I just played, if it weren't for Black Widow, I'd be considering it. So, all in all, it's been a fun event. It's been a ton of fun. And I really wish I'm sorry, Tom, that you didn't get a chance to get in because
seems like I would just love this.
Yeah,
I relish playing with bad figures.
And thank goodness it took to the 4th round. Nimrod just got eliminated.
Wow.
Nimrod made it to the 4th round of this. I couldn't believe it. Thanks, Edward Shelton, for getting that eliminated, please. And Regenesis Wolverine is out too.
Yeah, I would have thought that would be earlier too, but I guess it is all the question of the team you put them on.
There's just so much good stuff that even in round 3, it's like there's just amazing stuff still that doesn't get banned.
Yeah. And then there's Pulaski.
I
I like Pulaski. I make fun, but I think she's a good piece.
Well,
I just love that Bev Crusher from the same set.
I know they're both good, but you got to have Ogawa there. It's so great. I love Ogawa with them both. I also would have thought that Jordy would be have a natural advantage against your Invisible Woman because he doesn't need to worry about seeing her. Anyway, let's go to previews.
Yeah, let's do that preview thing now.
I have stuff, but okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. No, Jake.
I actually watched.
It's been a while.
I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 rounds of the. You didn't ask. I watched one yesterday. And it was actually there was an incorrect figure there as well. It was I can't remember. Connor played against. I can't remember. The game started an hour late because Roll 20 is Roll 20.
Yeah, I heard it had a bit of a problem, and everybody blamed me because I was the last one to log in a game.
You? It's you? Damn.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, Connor ended up winning with the Chase Odin from Battle World, who I think is the only Odin left period. But with that cool Odin with, I don't think the no stop clicks thing mattered, but the one with the cool free range attack and stuff, pretty beefy at the full points. And then he had the Black Panther set Thor with the time gem, and he's actually pretty solid, just overall, especially in this late into the proceedings. He played against 200-point Phoenix Force Magneto, as well as the Regenesis Beast at 40, and he intended to play with the Deep Cuts Hope, who was actually ended up being banned, so he just switched last minute to the Regenesis Hope,
Yeah,
who was also reasonable.
Yeah.
We didn't.
At least he wasn't hopeless.
Yeah. We didn't hear about the Lex Luthor until after I'd finished the game, so and I'm not letting Tom get away with that, so just ignore it, Jay. Anything else?
I couldn't think of a reading Rainbow pun during your game, but whatever. Read the cards. It basically came down to one person missed all the stuff, and then the other person missed all the stuff, and they both missed. It came down to Thor on the end clips with like Battle Fury against Hope. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. I can't remember, what did Adam Friedman play? I watched a game of his. I can't quite remember. Oh, I watched Adam Friedman versus Tim Bold. Adam was on Thunderbolts with like 2 Green Goblins at 50. The ones from Earth X, I think, again, only legal ones. Pretty good with the survivability with the hypersonic and all the stop click and the throw the glider. He had Zemo at 50. He had Moonstone, Low Point Atlas, and I think a Low Point Songbird. And Tim was playing Shield with, what was it, the Black Panther set? Winter Soldier, the one with like ranged flurry and a bunch of other stuff. And like Peggy, Carter Common, some Shield agents. Something else instead, I can't remember those Shield. Basically, rolling was a problem for Adam, and also he just made a bunch of like mistakes. Like he didn't dual target when he could have, and that would have like killed stuff more better. He said he didn't know what the hell any of his figures did, so that was pretty funny. And
we're getting to that stage, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and my HeroClix proceedings and fun stuff came down to unpacking. So that was technically something.
Hey man, I got to sort. Do you know how exciting that is for me? I love sorting my new sets.
How many Doombots?
I got 6 in my 2 boxes, and I have acquired 4 more since. But their prices are jacked up right now. Holy smokes! They're $9 a pop at on Troll and Toad.
Oh, okay. I just assumed that they were low because everything in the set's low. I don't know. I haven't been keeping as much track of it.
Yeah, I've been I've been helping Will with selling singles, and Troll and Toad has been our source. And man, that stuff's hot over there. It's heating.
I looked at their website. I couldn't find anything, but
really,
I don't know. I looked at HeroClix, couldn't find literally anything. But I mean, technically, you're never going to get enough Doombots because you don't own all of them. So
exactly.
What can you do?
If I don't own all of them, I'm not done yet. All right. That said, let's move into the previews that Tom tried to push us to earlier. All right.
It was more of a joke segue. I didn't really care.
It's all right. Okay, so these pictures were a little fuzzy when they first came out, but thanks to someone over at the Buffalo HeroClix group, we actually have the powers typed out beside them. These were from another Game Trader magazine, so apparently Game Trader magazine is really hype about Spider-Man. So the first one we have here that we're looking at is the uncommon Miles Morales Spider-Man. His trait is Dimensional Travel Watch. His keywords: Avengers, Champions, Shield, Spider-Man Family, and Ultimates.
Wow.
What year is it?
Throwback.
This gets better, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to get there.
He's got ignores elevator for movement. The Dimensional Travel Watch, which allows him to start equipped with Dimensional Watch, which you can see in the picture below. He's got a special movement power, a slightly different genetically engineered spider, which gives him plasticity, sidestep, and stealth. And then he's got a special attack power, Shocking Web Blast. It's precision strike when Spider-Man is given a move action and moves 5 squares or less. After resolutions, you can use Incapacitate as range at no cost and may use it to target all opposing characters within range and line of fire. He has standard symbols all across the board: not indomitable, regular movement speed. He's got 4 range. He's got the Spider-Man team ability, and I can't believe I'm saying these words, the Ultimates team ability. For those of you unfamiliar, it's just the Avengers Initiative team ability. Ignores hindering for line of fire and movement.
Superman ally, yeah.
I love it. And the Dimensional Watch, while we're here, phasing teleport. When this character hits an opposing character, if no character has been placed this turn, after resolutions you may roll a d6. On a 3 to 6, place another friendly character with the Spider-Man family keyword adjacent. Gives your the entire Spider-Man family the call in help from the Spider-Verse. Tom, Spider-Man.
He's okay. I miss willpower. I think for 65 points, this is a pretty nice little package. That's the thing that kind of puts it over the edge for me, especially when, you don't have to pay to get the phasing teleport on there, and you get the sort of the quasi call-in help from whoever happens to be holding this thing effect. Well, it has to be Spider-Man family, but okay. So when you combine the relatively low cost with the bonus of the object, and just the fact that he's as good as he is, then there's a lot of things to say. It's funny to think. I'm glad that at least he uses Incapacitate within his range and line of fire instead of just doing the whole map. I was starting to think that was just going to be a thing that we saw. Yeah. So that's something. I do love the fact that Precision Strike and Incapacitate are one of those power combinations you don't see very often, but does work together. So that's nifty. If nothing else, I like to see when you get combinations that are less often seen. You combine it with the outwit, the high defense, the rollout, and everything. There's a lot of here to like for 65 points, and that's the kicker to me, because I don't think that I'm blown away by the piece. But I'll be perfectly honest. I looked at him and figured he would be 70 or 75 points. So I'm pleasantly surprised he's a little cheaper than I thought at first glance.
All right, Jay.
I mean, for an uncommon, reasonably not, it's not like the straight up hyper competitive, but this is a very respectable. I can see this being relevant and sealed, although, did it say who exactly comes with the equipment, or did we see a rarity tab on the equipment?
The rarity tab on the equipment is rare. I have a feeling it's going to come with something that we're going to look at in a bit.
Yeah, okay, that checks out. I just have one question. So we got Ultimate Thor a while ago with improved targeting, hindering, and improved movement hindering. We just got Maker with both as well. What designers aren't talking to each other?
In defense of Maker was never on the Ultimates. He was just in the Ultimate universe.
Right, but he has the improved targeting and movement, so it's just, I presume that was the idea. But
maybe.
Yeah, one hand isn't talking to the other hand, but
it's a little whack.
That's a pretty good team ability to be able to wildcard on a Spider-Man team, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I like it. I mean, you have to compare. There's the duo or pseudo duo, and the prime, but still, like if this is like your first miles that you pull, so it's very good. I think for the everybody's going to pull up version.
All right. Next up, speaking of, we have the Ghost Spider. She's got the Spider-Man family and celebrity. Real name is Gwen Stacy, so this is one of our Spider-Gwens of many universes. She also has a dimensional travel watch. Very likely the character it comes with, because she's rare tagged. The watch is rare tagged as well. This is also a secret identity character, so keep your eyes on that. She's got a special movement power. You don't get to like my haircut. When Ghost Spider is given a move action and moves 5 squares or less, after resolutions, she may make an attack. She also comes with Indomitable, 5 range or 2 targets, 85 points. Spider-Man team ability, starts with 3 clicks of prob, and telekinesis. Jay, what do you think of the Ghost Spider?
I mean, I'm going to talk about Seal just because I feel like it. I feel like, without having seen literally any other rares, this is probably like a reasonable rare to pull with like PK, move and attack, prob. I hear prob and Seal is good.
I've heard that.
I'm more compelled by the idea of we've gotten Gwen Stacy as Pogs before a bunch of times, but it'll be interesting to see what she does as an actual character.
Mm-hmm.
And also, wait, how does Secret Identity even work? Is that
Secret Identity is you're allowed to replace certain characters with a secret identity character
when they would be KO'd
or something like that. Yeah.
That's a little weird for Gwen Stacy, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I mean, she's pretty neat. I think you don't see much improved targeting characters, and she's not easy to deal with.
Oh, I forgot the improved targeting characters, and she ignores characters. Elevated and hindering for movement.
Everything except characters. Well,
yeah,
not everything except, but
I think she's reasonably neato, like similar to Miles.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, reasonably neato is probably a pretty good description. I don't see any reason to be disappointed you have this piece. But I do see some reason to kind of wonder, what is this piece supposed to be doing? She's a kind of a strange hybrid of support and offense, which is not always a bad thing, but kind of needs to be offense at a tertiary attack roll and usually a bit fewer points. I do think at 85 points, it's a little rich for. I mean, what do I really want? I guess, but I don't know. I don't know how much I'm using that TK except to enable others. I wish I could move and then TK. And the phasing teleport is slightly redundant with that much improved movement anyway. Although I guess the same could be argued for Miles. So 6-1 to the other. Prob is always good. I just wish the back half of her down with the first half, and maybe vice versa. That's all. She's nothing bad about her. Just not that excited.
I think I get a little bit more excited when I remember that the Dimensional Watch does give her phasing, and that movement power then will work in conjunction with the phasing because it's a capital move, which is required for phasing. So it is like it's a phasing running shot to a certain degree. It's kind of a I'm looking at it as more of a concession in the fact that like that adds to the value, and you don't have to pay the points for that. I do agree with you though. The TK feels like it's bloating the points, and this could be like a 75-point character without that TK. I personally do prefer that back-ended hypersonic just to change the way she's going. It's like time to get out of the fight, maybe. I don't know.
You just
probably a reasonable secret identity though.
You put it next to Miles, and I can kind of see why there's 20 points difference because her point values are a little more stable for the most part. She does have more support powers. It's just straight through the dial. But I don't feel like that difference is enough to make me want to pay the difference. So that, if I had to choose between the two, and that's a silly way to look at it, considering it just happens to be the two pieces in order that we're looking at. But I see better value at 65 points for Miles than I do 85 for Ghost Spider. So as much as that's maybe a silly metric, it's the first one that comes to my mind.
What were you going to say there, Jay?
I was just going to say it's. I mean, we don't know what the Gwen does, but it looks like a very reasonable secret identity.
Yeah, agreed. That's the other thing to include is if Gwen follows the Peter Parker model, it'll be a character who's autonomous, which is going to be great. Who probably supports in some way, shape, or form. Could be Prob, could be Perplex. I think Peter Parker had Prob.
Yeah, he goes from Prob to Outwit.
Yeah. So
When I think Gwen Stacy, I think of the Emma Stone version because that was actually one of the only good things there. But I can't remember how sciencey I don't know. I can't remember how capable she was in the actual comic, not including like the Spider. Maybe it's more the Spider Gwen version. I don't know.
We're probably more likely to see the Spider Gwen version of Gwen Stacy show up.
That sounds plausible. Yeah. It's also funny that you can have, if you want to equip a character that already has Spider-Verse with the Watch, you have 2 chances at that. And if they're Agent Venom, he can do his own role.
I also like to reinforce your point about it being a good secret identity. If you've got a piece that you don't know when it's going to hit the board, I think it's a best case scenario that it has both offense and support capacity when it does. So at that point, I think it's a great secret identity.
I think TK could really matter if they drop equipment. You can blow it up or prob at any point. So
right.
Yeah. All right. So we now move. Come on, girl. There we go. Steampunk Penny. Is that the right order I have it in? That is the order I have it in. Okay, cool. Steampunk Penny. This is another chase, and I believe this was another figure that they kind of got some creative liberty on. As you can see in the sketch, it doesn't have a comic book cover or anything like that, or even a significant issue. And that's because this is the first set that WizKids turned to Marvel and said, hey guys, can we make some of our own cool stuff? And Marvel said, okay, just as long as you don't, make anything that makes us look bad. So we have, I'm assuming that's how the conversation goes, is how the conversation usually goes in these things.
I'm just thinking, don't make us look bad, but then Wild Wild West reference.
Miles West.
Oh, good times.
All right. Steampunk Penny has the Spider-Man family, past, robot, and scientist keywords, ignores elevated and characters for movement. My Kind of Allies is her first trait. When establishing theme teams, characters on your force with the robot keyword gain the Spider-Man family keyword. This is a trend. We've seen it already in Miles West. We're going to see it again today. Your generic themes don't matter anymore. Her second trait, call in help from the Spider-Verse. We've seen this in the past. When Steampunk Penny hits an opposing character, if no other character has been placed this turn, after resolutions, you may roll a d6. On a 3 to 6, place another friendly character with the Spider-Man family keyword adjacent. Her special damage power is Perplex, unique modifier. When Steampunk Penny uses Perplex to target another friendly character with the Spider-Man family keyword and doesn't choose damage, you may roll a d6 and instead modify the chosen value by half the result. She comes in at either 65 or 45 points with the Spider-Man team ability. I mean, here we go. Robots are now a named theme team. We're already a developing keyword, and has definitely seen some action recently. It's almost like a must play. I would probably play this one at 45 points. She's not a giant. She is indomitable. And that Perplex is just a must use. There's no bad side to it. You either get 1 or 2 or 3. Like, there's no bad side to that Perplex. You were expecting Perplex to work in one way. Now it's just going to work a little better in another way. For 45 points, adding Perplex to your team, making your robot theme team a named keyword, I think that's amazing, and Steampunk Penny is definitely up for consideration. I've said it like 3 different ways, like Penny, Penne, Penne, Penif. She's awesome. I love her. I want one of these when the set comes out. Tom?
Yeah, this is one of those weird pieces that falls into a category for which I'm not particularly excited, but I certainly see why it's great value. So much of it is based on how awesome that Perplex is, so it does mean that she's really only playable as either a Spider-Man family theme or a robot come Spider-Man family team, whatever you want to call it, or at least with other Spider-Man family people. Anyway, the point is that I don't think if you're not able to get the full value of that Perplex, I think she's just a relatively well-costed little piece. And I would agree with you. I think 45 points as a base to use that awesome Perplex in conjunction with being able to tie some people down and maybe be a tertiary attacker is a pretty good use for her. She actually is a pretty stout top click for 65 points. Yeah. It just feels like you could maybe make more use of those points elsewhere. I will say this. I'm glad she's 65-45 as opposed to being like an 85-45 with a higher point value that I would never even consider. At least I'd consider this one depending upon the needs of my team.
Absolutely. Jay?
I think seeing this piece, WizKids is to be commended because they clearly listened to the fan base where, we were all saying Brainiac's not good enough. I mean,
Brainiac's just okay.
He only did everything, and now he can prob. It's okay, I guess. Do I need to say anything?
No, you're good.
Mic drop.
Well, yeah, you can mic drop on that one. I think we've said enough.
It was funny, Tom, when you said you could use something better for those 20 points of 2 Brainiacs, apparently.
Yeah. 2 Brainiacs, which are now Spider-Man family, which means they're sources of your theme probs.
And even if you don't have that many Brainiacs, you can still theme filler. I mean, even for 85, like if you play her at 65 and you want to maintain Highlander for a Mazo, like you can get 85 points for her and the robot Superman. And if you want to throw in a Doombot as well and Brainiac, and then you have room for a Mazo, yeah.
Man, I'm looking forward to this strange new world. Speaking of finding a new world, Spider-Man 1776. He's got Exile, Spider-Man family, past, politician, and soldier keywords. Ignores elevated and hindering for movement. His My Kinda Allies gives soldier keyword the Spider-Man family keyword. His second trait, calling help from the Spider-Verse. We don't need to go over that one again. His third trait gives him leadership and super senses. Opposing forces have action total -1. Opposing characters within 6 can't use leadership or autonomous. And he's got a defense power that's stop that gives him combat reflexes and toughness, which is on his second click at 75 or his last click at both his 75 or 50 point dial with Indomitable and the Spider-Man team ability. Tom?
Well, for one thing, I love the idea that they took Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man of 2099, and made him a Spider-Man of the past. That's cute. I know that they're getting on the whole, the founding year of America thing, but wouldn't you have rather it was 1799?
Exactly.
Wouldn't that just a little more appropriate? Sorry to our American listeners, which is probably almost all of our listeners. Anyway, I know. I just
Sorry for our demographics.
$20.99, $17.99. That would have been funnier to me.
$19.99 would have been hilarious, holding like a Y2K warning paper. Y2K is fake. Relax.
Would have been awesome listening to like Spice Girls.
Do I have to be the one that mentioned 1602?
Well, no, but like that's cool too. But
we're keeping to the 2099, the 99 portion of the 2099.
Yeah, we're making.
I know Tom loves that, so that was.
I do love it. Maybe they'll still do it, but there actually was a Spider-Man of 1602 in one of the spin-offs. So Peter Parkwa. Anyway, he's great. I mean, what do you want? That opposing forces have action total -1. Just period. Joke. I mean, that's again, to me, that's why you play him, and therefore, I think 50 points is your point value du jour. Honestly, at 75 points, it's hard to know. Like, you do get the stop click, which is wicked, but it's maybe slightly deceptive because once you're on the stop click and then take a hit, you're breezing right past towards the end of your dial anyway. So, to what extent you're really getting 25 points out of it is debatable. Maybe just barely, but I think I'm talking myself into a bit of a loop. When again, I think there are better things you could do with that 25 points.
Which sure Jay will probably have a joke about right when we get in there.
I'm sure Jay will find a 2-point character who has all the support powers
with the soldier keyword.
Anyway, certainly leadership and the opposing action total combined with some nice protection from super senses and perplex is all you really need. And on that, you've got a tertiary attacker. I feel like earlier in this podcast, I was talking about the fact that if you've got a piece that is both support and attack, then it's nice when there are low points and they fit a tertiary attack role, and that's exactly what this dude is. So I consider this more what I was talking about before, and therefore I like it.
Jay?
I have 2 good things to say and 2 minor quibbles.
Sure.
Spider-Man family gets access to Super Skrull because he's a soldier. That's
cool. I'm actually okay with that. That's
cool. Cool.
I think this is legitimately the best use you're going to get for Crimson Avenger because you can't play him in Micron. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what order these go in because they're like tangentially related. Why did we go from an Exiles Ultra Chase to another chase? Why is the least rare Exile out of the 3 of them a rare Prime? You're killing me, WizKids. And also, it's kind of funny to me how because there's 2 out of the 3 Exiles in Modern have Soldier, you're literally better off just playing Peggy Ultra Chase in this and something else for like a Spider-Man family instead of Exiles. But yeah, it is pretty funny that they took the futuriest of future Spider-Mans and made him the cool past character.
Yeah.
I was also looking through the confirmed character list just to see because it seems like the made up stuff is the chase theme, which is pretty cool. It's on Spider-Man, but Leonardo da Venom seems like a thing. I'm guessing.
Leonardo da Venom was the first one they showed us when we were at Worlds. They're like, awesome. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make Steampunk Penny and Leonardo da Venom, and we all kind of looked at them and was like, you get free reign to make whatever you want. This is what you gave us, and then we got Spider-Man 1776.
That is super wacky, and I'm sure that there are other cool puns they could make.
Yeah. They should have made, and I'm gonna highly doubt that. Oh, that's actually I was gonna say they should have made up another Spider-Ham universe sort of thing, but there is actually a Spider-Ham like weird one. There's a Samurai Spider-Ham. So hopeful warrior keyword for Eddie Guerrero goodness. I'm not. And also I'm assuming da Venom is a scientist, and then Spider Pharaoh, because last time we got a Pharaoh in this game, he was only okay.
Yeah, Pharaohs have a fine past in this game. Pharaohs and Sphinxes haven't been strong ever.
Yeah, so I'm assuming since all the chases we've seen are passed so far, I'm assuming there's not going to be one of those were passed. So ruler key needed to be better. I give up. I don't know anymore.
Ruler is now a non-generic theme team.
About time.
Ruler finally gets his date in the sun.
Yeah.
I just love how like we got Eternity who got every keyword and was like it's okay. like that was like the best keyword cheating. Now just keyword cheating is just in the fashion. Like that's what the game looks like now.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's not like it just says, soldier becomes named. It's soldier gets Spider-Man.
Spider-Man family and all its perks.
If you have a random good, super senses guy who's not Spider-Man, you can play them with like Spiderling now. And like it's just wow.
There's so much Star Trek stuff with the soldier keyword.
Yeah, true.
There's so much. I just went modern. Like I went to HC Realms Advanced Search, modern age soldier keyword. Oh man,
can you imagine Kirk with a +3 perplex? I'm for one welcome this break. So hold on. If you Venom harnessed him, close combat expert all to attack, and then you got +2 to damage or whatever, you're a +3s only rolling a 2 out of 3 chance.
So.
Oh, good times.
All right. So, Spider-Man is... I mean, like, I know we're still coming down from Fantastic Four, but the stuff from Spider-Man kind of hit... I wouldn't expect our preview season to hit too soon. We know Scott Porter has his product, but he gets it way in advance of everybody else. So, and I believe this set is supposed to be September, October area?
September, but I don't think the solicit system has an actual day. But I'm sure that, an actual store probably has the answer.
Probably. All right. So that said, it's time to talk about the Fantastic Four, Fast Forces. I'm going to pull up HC Realms for this one, and okay. So I think our initial reactions on this one are very similar across the board, in that we feel spoiled by Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four starter and the Justice League Unlimited starter. I mean, are we all kind of on the same page on that one?
Yep.
Yeah. So we kind of go back to the old, not so great in the Fast Forces, at least not super inspired. So our first look into the Fast Forces is Spider-Man, playable at 75 or 50, which is going to be what I say for all of them. And at 75 points, you lose the first 2 clicks. He ignores Elevated for movement. He's got the Fantastic Four team ability and the Spider-Man team ability. Fantastic Four scientists and Spider-Man family keywords. 4 range. Whatever Spider can is his first trait. Super senses, but succeeds on a 4 to 6. Protected outwit. It's lowercase protected, so it's just a super senses protected outwit. And his other trait, I'll just web this guy up. When Spider-Man hits with a range attack, a hit target gains immobile until your next turn. What do you think, Jay?
Such a good trait wasted. I think that's all I need to say.
Tom?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. He's annoying to try to hit, but once you do, he's KO'd, so you feel like it was worth it.
Yeah. All right. Next up, the Hulk. His first trait gives him super strength. It's called the strongest one there is. When Hulk makes a close attack... Oh, sorry. Hulk has the Fantastic Four and Underworld team abilities. This is Joe Fixit. He's the gray one. 75 points or 50 points. At 50 points, you lose the first 2 clicks again. He's indomitable. Fantastic Four and monster keywords. Strongest one there is, which gives him super strength. When Hulk makes a close object attack, modified damage, an additional +1. That super strength is protected outwit. His movement power, leaping smash, leap climb, free, improved movement, elevated terrain, and hindering terrain. Roll a d6, move up to the result. It's a Hulk. It's a Hulk doing what the Hulk do. The random movement's neat. I think it goes well with the Underworld team ability. The fact that he can carry Fantastic Four and monsters is good. But it's just not super exciting. The 50 points just makes him penetratable. And yeah, just overall not a super exciting Hulk, but that is what it is. Tom?
Yeah, there's nothing to get excited about this figure. It's too bad because it's a Hulk and it's Grey Hulk, which is one of my favorite runs. But I'm afraid there just isn't enough to catch my fancy at any point value for any reason. And I know that's a boring answer, but it's a boring dial.
Yeah. Jay?
I kind of resent that you called him Joe Fixit because, like, they at least did that. Like, you made a Grey Hulk in the accurate, era, and you gave him Underworld. You know what's going on. You don't call him Joe Fixit. Also, missed opportunity that I randomly thought of because there's literally nothing more interesting to say. It's a real shame that the Joker, like, I don't know, they go on and off with giving Joker monster keyword. It would have been cute if you had kind of a Las Vegas theme going on there between,
Las Vegas gangsters.
Because that episode was in Las Vegas, and then you get But I think, didn't the Circle of Four story also take place in Las Vegas, or I don't know.
I don't know.
I know. I want to play some silly Las Vegas theme tune for some reason.
Viva Las Vegas! All right, next up, Wolverine. Fantastic Four and X-Men team abilities, 75 points, Indomitable. Fantastic Four, Weapon X, X-Force, and X-Men keywords. Once again, you pay 25 points less, you get 2 less clicks. He's traded Snicked, Blades, Claws, Fangs, Protected... wait, what's that?
It's Laura.
Oh, is this Laura?
Yeah.
My bad. And special movement power, biologically engineered killing machine, which gives her charge and flurry. Tom, you get the lead on Wolverine.
I mean, I'll give her this. She's probably my favorite so far. That is clearing a bar low enough that one can't be 100% sure it's actually not on the ground. But it's still, charge flurry blades with battle fury and precision strike is a great little combination. All those things work together. So as long as you have some way of getting her into position to do it, then it's useful. She is unfortunately too costly and too poorly protected to really be able to do that. So I don't see how she would ever really get played. But if I must play her, if it's like round 19 of the PJ Bolin, Kilted Klassic marathon, then she's the first one from this Fast Forces I'm reaching for. At least the first one so far.
Unfortunately, this set is not legal in that tournament, so at any point. Jay?
All I have is a joke. Correct me if I'm wrong, I just looked it up, but the other X-23 in the set has toughness traded, right? Or at least one of the two of them?
Yeah.
But this one has an upgrade with the adamantium skeleton. So why are we only seeing toughness here? The joke is that the card says adamantium skeleton. Which is
does the card say it? I didn't write the card down. All right, cool. Next up, then, Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider has a Fantastic Four and Mystics team ability with 5 range. Once again, 75 or 50 points. And guess what? 50 points, 2 less clicks. Fantastic Four, Marvel Knights, Midnight Suns, mystical keywords. A new kind of fantastic teamwork is his first trait. It's Danny Ketch this time. When Ghost Rider hits with a close attack until your next turn, other friendly characters with a Fantastic Four keyword can use exploit weakness. I guess they forgot to put that in the main set, Ghost Rider, because that seemed to
be that Robbie.
Hold on a second. Okay, so does the Fast Force one have that trait? Because this also has the new Fantastic Four trait, which gives the Passenger 1, but only to carry characters with the Fantastic Four keyword.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the only version we got. Yeah, they threw him in the Fast Forces instead.
Fair enough. Once per turn, when Ghost Rider is carried and placed adjacent to 2 or more opposing characters, after resolutions, he may make a close attack. His special attack power in his first 3 clicks at 75 or first click at 50. No hiding from judgment, penetrating psychic blast, improved targeting, ignored cindering. When making a range attack, if Ghost Rider's line of fire crosses hindering terrain, modify attack and damage +1. Jay.
I get that he has the being carried to make the attack trait, but it just bothers me that it's a running shot character with the thing based on making a close attack. I don't know. I don't know. The range is a little bit like the overall's like 8 movement, like 4 movement, running shot 5. Like, I don't know. He's not going to be carrying because he's slow. I don't know. I just don't know what this Fast Force is.
All right, Tom, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, again, I wish I wasn't so down on this whole set, so I'm looking for something positive to say here, and I will say that he's got enough going on that it's kind of neat that he becomes another member of the new Fantastic Four with all the appropriate trait stuff. Like, it's weird that they shunted him into the Fast Forces, but at least they didn't use that as a way of saying, well, we can't possibly, fill out the difference here. And so it's neat that he's got all that stuff. And it's cool that he gives an exploit weakness. That's pretty useful. But it is based on hitting with a close attack, which you can do after being carried. 6 of one, up to the other. He's too many points for what he does, so I can't really get excited about it. But again, he's at least on the upper side of this particular Fast Force.
Yeah. Also not Indomitable, weirdly. I don't imagine non-Indomitable being a Ghost Rider thing.
It is nice that even though he's in a different part of the set, they did get the 75 points right, so it all lines up with all of them being 75.
Right.
So
that does. All right, next up, Black Panther, 75 points or 50 points. I'm going to say you lose the last 2 clicks. Yeah, you do. All right, cool. You lose those first 2 clicks if you pay 25 points less. 4 range, Avengers, Fantastic Four, team abilities, Avengers, Fantastic Four, Illuminati, Marvel Knights, Ruler, Wakanda, and Warrior keywords. Ignores hindering from movement. Traded Mantle of the Black Panther gives him stealth, shape change, but only if occupying hindering terrain. And then a special damage power on the first 2 clicks only for the 75-point version, which gives him leadership and outwit. It's just so many more Black Panthers I want to use over this one. Like, even if I'm just going off the character name alone, he's cool, but I want to use a different Black Panther, to be brutally honest. I almost want to use Black Leopard over this guy in a lot of cases, just for that 50 points. Because when we think about this, we don't think about these figures in sealed. We got to think about these in constructed strictly. And yeah, so there's other ways I'd rather spend points on than for this particular Black Panther. Tom?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. This would be a great fast forces for a new player to get to know the game, because there's lots of variety and it's all relatively straightforward, and it feels, passingly appropriate for the characters, but they're all pretty underwhelming. So buy this for someone who's new to the game, and then later give them some better figures.
Jay?
I mean, if you want stealth outwit, I would just rather cough up the extra points to play Dr. Fantastic for essentially a 20 stealth or double. I just don't see the purpose.
No.
Like, I don't know.
New player focused. These
yeah.
things.
Yeah. It does make me wish, though, that it was more of a starter at that point, right? Like,
Yeah.
What is the relationship there? To my line of thinking, fast forces are kind of there to supplement your collection. And I always kind of thought that they were, I don't know, I don't get fast forces, I have to be honest with you. I've always preferred starters. Even if the fast forces were more modest and just had like one map and just like pointed you towards an electronic source for the rule book. So they were like a mini starter, at least it would be something that somebody could get started with.
Yeah, and they used to, at least some of them included maps. Like I remember the Rogues one was called a fast forces and did. That was cool.
Put maps back in them, guys.
So what's the MSRP difference? Like,
I think these are like $10-15 less than starters. Like they're much cheaper.
We're getting starters with 4 maps, so I'll pay that much for 4 maps.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have She-Thing. Fantastic Four and Wildcard team abilities, 75 points or 50 points. You know what you're losing if you spend 25 points less. Fantastic Four and monster keywords. Don't worry, I can take a hit as your first trait. She-Thing takes a maximum of 1 damage from the first attack that hits her each turn. At the end of each turn, heal her 1 click if she was hit by a ranged attack that turn. Her special damage power in her first 4 clicks. Had enough yet? Close Combat Expert. When She-Thing uses it, you may modify attack or damage by an additional +1. Tom?
Well, let's be honest. She's definitely the best piece in the Fast Forces. I mean, I'll be interested to see if you guys can come up with a reason that that's not true. Maybe you can, but protected every turn without any action token consequence, and the fact that she heals when she's hit by a ranged attack. Like, she's nicely tanky. She's not that hard to take down once you start dedicating time and effort towards her, but at least she is forcing you to do so, and that could be creating openings for the rest of your team. As a result, I think that 50 points is the golden point value for her, because no matter what, it's going to take at least 2 attacks, maybe more, depends on whether they're combining with outwitting, penetrating damage, how much their attack value is. Obviously, they can kind of just strategically choose their order, but if she does live, and if any of its range, she will at least get some of it back. And if she gets close enough to be able to use her Close Combat Expert, then she's ultimately getting, a +4 values across attack and damage combined. So she can definitely make sure to hit and not do a lot of damage, or she can just do pulverizing damage with a relatively good likelihood of hitting. And Dial's super strength is sad to see, but all the same, the best things I can say about a figure in this set so far. So probably the best reason to buy it, even if it's not a fantastic reason in and of itself, no pun intended.
I'm pretty sure the Close Combat Expert is a +3 across, because you get +2 base out of the Close Combat Expert, and then you'll get the additional +1 to either attack or damage. If I'm reading that right.
Oh, I misread that. Well, it doesn't really matter.
It's still good.
Yeah, the point stand's just less impressive than I thought because you're right. I for some reason read that or as an and. Maybe it was just my optimism.
But Jay,
I feel like if anything, you're buying the fast forces for the Ghost Rider because that's like the only version of that there is, or you want a Great Hulk. But as far as she goes, I'm going to go with you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
fair enough. I will agree with Tom in the fact that she's the most survivable thing because I'm not looking at this and saying she's going to die in one shot. She'll die in 2 shots. So
Great.
that makes
Totally
her
perfect.
that gives her a lot more longevity. If you look at it at 50 points, I mean, I don't foresee myself getting a close combat expert, but I do see myself soaking some shots on her. And, you know, if they don't follow up and you'd made a rage attack, they wasted their time. So, overall, I'm okay with that, but it's not the reason I buy the fast forces still, you know? This one's a pretty easy pass overall, I think. If you're looking for something competitive, if you're looking for some fun pieces, by all means, throw them in there, put together some teams, have some wackiness, you know, if you're not looking for your super tryhard. This is kitchen table stuff, though, in this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you're getting like a low rarity, really hard to hit Spider-Man. So,
Yeah. Now, that said, let me clear all this out so that, geez, do you have to clear the entire team when I hit X on one of them? All right. So now we move on to the Masters of Evil starter set, which I believe is out. It's the Masters of Evil versus Avengers battle set. Like, this is a starter set. We don't have the maps. I don't have a digital version of the maps to look at right now, so we might cover that next week once we get a version of those. But that said, these dials are a little, and I say little, I mean they're a lot different than what to expect. There's actually 2 dials on each one, but they're on opposite ends of the dial. So there is a 25-point version of Captain America that you play on this side of the dial, and then there's a 50-point version of Captain America that you play on this side of the dial. And their dials will be different. You play with a different card when you choose each one, so they will have different traits, etc. There was an error on one of them, I believe it's the Iron Man, that has like a defense power listed on the card that it doesn't actually have. But aside from that, let's take a look first at this 25-point Captain America. Now hold on, Jay, help me out. Are these lower point versions playable in standard HeroClix play?
yeah, they're just like, here are cool, simple dials.
Okay, I want to say that because I'm looking at a cool, simple 25-point Captain America with 5 clicks of health. And Indomitable with the Avengers, Martial Artist, Past, Shield, and Soldier keywords. It leads with some energy shield and leadership, and ends with some close combat expert and close combat reflexes. Like, just as a 25-point dial alone, this is straight up Value Town. Like, welcome to Value Village. Named Captain America.
Welcome to Value Town.
Like, I'm serious. If you're shooting this 25-point character without any outwit or help, you're shooting against a 20 defense. Or you're attacking against an 18 defense on a 25-point character. I don't even care. I think the Avengers team ability, the 5 range don't matter. The Indomitable is even better. Like, but this is 25 points. What happened here? I mean, there's some potential. And hey, it's got Soldier keywords, so guess what? There's 25 points on your Spider-Man 1776 being spent in a different way for 5 extra clicks. Tom?
Ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves down to Value Town, where Captain America is here for you.
I'm getting in touch with Dollies right now. I need to get this.
Value Town. Here's a hidden secret. I didn't even know this set existed until just before the show started, in which we were confirming what we were going to talk about. I was like, yep, that's what we talked about before. Yep. What? Avengers versus Masters of Evil. So, I mean, yeah, man. Welcome to Value Town. It is certainly good value for 25 points. That's the most you can say about it. At least he's the only getting around by resolving move actions, so that Avengers team ability is going to come in handy more often. It always feels good when you can use an otherwise near useless team ability. Leadership is 25 points, and he's not easy to take out. So that's enough for me. I think that he is a nice little bit of filler, even if he's not anything to write home about.
Jay?
I mean, you can't really argue with that. I like the idea of playing him with that 25-point Isaiah Bradley from the Fast Horses there, that he has the living legend. It's like 50 points. Swarm those guys. You have to hit them like 500 times.
What is this game anymore? All right.
Also, for reference, you can find good pictures of, not the best pictures, but reasonable pictures on figures.com with all the maps.
Okay. Also, worth noting, welcome new player to the game. Don't get used to this type of pointing and valuing if you're just coming here from this set. So we move now to the 50-point version of the Captain America. So we double up the points, same number of clicks. Avengers, Martial Artist, Seal, Shield, and Soldier keywords. He's got a special defense power in his first 2 clicks. That's the Shield, Energy Shield, Deflection, Toughness, Unique Modifier, Adjacent Friendly Characters Modify, Defense +1. Almost everything is exactly the same, with the exception of the fact that for double the points, we're adding 2 clicks of Running Shot, 3 clicks of Sidestep, a leading 2 clicks of of Precision Strike. Otherwise, everything's very much the same. Tom?
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's funny that there's so little difference for 25 points, and yet he is maybe similarly playable. I guess he's not quite, insofar as at least the 25-point version is nice filler to help you get a nice big team, hopefully win a map, and bring a reliable leadership at low cost. This guy has no such easy niche to fit into. And as a result, it's hard to get excited about playing him. Certainly, I like the fact that he's got some move and attack and whatnot, but as I talk about him, my voice kind of deflates slightly because I realize
out of it.
I realized that this isn't Value Town, and I'm not sure.
We just came from Value Town, and now it's like I don't feel like I'm getting the same value for buck here.
yeah, Value Town is really not serving us the way it used to, and as a result, I'm not able to get excited. So he's pretty bland. That's what I have to say.
All right, Jay.
I mean, I guess I could lodge this complaint here to begin with. I don't get these are switch clicks. I don't get why they did the one dial, whatever. Because then they're all limited to 5 clicks each. He's just, I want to like him, but he's just so medium. Like that's really it, right? Like it's decent, but like there's only so much excitement to be had.
Yeah,
I think is about it.
Can we go back to the first one? I just want to look at that again. Oh, that's the stuff. That's the stuff. Oh my god! For 25 points, that's what I get. All right, let's see what we get for 50 on Iron Man. So we get a little bit of starting sidestep, range combat expert, 6 range, 50 points, armor, Avengers, scientist, and Stark Industries keyword. I'm gonna stop talking about it and let Jay take the lead he deserves. How about those first 2 clicks? That defense power.
I'll have to make this joke later.
How about this capability?
I wish this was 25 points.
Why can't this be 25 points like the other one?
Yeah, that's all I can say.
Apparently flight gives you double points. All right, Tom, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, like a bad comedian, somehow the design here was really stuck to the bit. And they're like, the bit is 25, 50, and 75, and that's what it's going to be. If only they had been willing to make a 35-point or 40-point cost for this piece, then maybe we could have reserved a shelf for it down at Value Town. But right about now, it just doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid.
AC Realms users have a running joke about the WizKids intern, Steve the intern. And,
Steve the intern.
That's about that. Yeah.
I feel like right here, this is. I imagine this Tony Stark, but it's Tony Stark that called the armor, wasn't wearing any clothes, and just got the fists and the feet, like the boots and the gloves, and that's all that showed up for the armor.
Or he started drinking again.
Well, he was drinking when this showed up. That's why I'm... all right, so we move into the 75-point version. He has a special movement power that gives him Force Blast and Running Shot. Still indomitable, but he now front-loads the Energy Shield. Adds some probability control. Okay, for 25 extra points, I'm still not excited for this Iron Man because this is not what I expect out of Iron Man, most of all. But at the same time, this is still at 75 points a playable character. If I gotta ignore the name for a second. We have a 6 range running shot, force blast, psychic blast with probability control on an 11 attack. So that's a pretty solid combination of things in the armor, scientist, Avengers, Stark Industries keywords. Now, if I remember that it's Iron Man, I get annoyed because he doesn't have any kind of damage reducer until the late dial. But it's okay. I don't think I'm spending 75 points competitively on it. Tom?
Yeah, I think that sums it up well. It does occur to me that just shortly ago we were talking about the Fantastic Four thing, and I was knocking the Fast Forces for being basically designed for new players, but not giving you all that you need in a set for new players. So joke's on me. This is also pretty welcoming for new players, and it actually is a starter. So I viewed under that light. I have nothing to complain about, but I will not be playing this figure except to teach someone how to play the game.
All right, Jay.
It's also cool that it's almost a board game. It's
Yeah.
like a board game with all the name with all scenario stuff. As far as Heroclix that are meant to help teach people the game, this is not as bad as the Turtle starter.
No, nothing is as bad as the turtle starter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also worth noting. I think the errata was that there's just no stop there at all. I believe, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, there's a defense power that's listed on the card that isn't on the dial. That's the errata.
He was that
right.
drunk.
What's that?
He was that drunk. He forgot about a stopwatch.
All right. Next up, we have a Black Widow, played at 25 points. 4 range, 2 targets. So for 25 points, you're getting 4 clicks this time. Avengers, Martial Artist, Soldier, Spy. Tom?
Quite good, actually. 25 points for pretty hard to kill. I love the combination of super senses and shape change. Again, if you're going to use that T ability, then use the heck out of getting up there and locking down your opponents. Nice little tie-up, who's not that easy to take out. 4 clicks is perfectly acceptable for 25 points. And Indomitable on top of it all. So, no complaints.
Jay?
I don't want to compare, but I see the spy keyword, and I see super senses and shape change, and then I think I could pay 20 points for the scroll infiltrator.
Huh. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I kind of just, that's, I think, literally all I need to say.
I guess
I don't know. It's not all the same keywords, though.
No, but I
you're-
just...
you're
It's
doing
Avengers,
very-
even if this was, good, I don't know. I don't think you're playing this on Avengers regardless.
I think that there's an outside chance. I'll take. She's a C+ character, but every now and again you want a C+ character if it's the only thing that really fits the niche you want. It's fine. She can take some
As
deep
far as-
props.
Once you're in Value Town, once you're in Value Town and they're sold out of that Captain America, I think this is the next thing you reach for.
I agree. It's like you go to that aisle looking for the Captain America, and all you see is a bunch of Black Widows. But it's hard to be that upset when you're walking out because you always get a good deal at Value Town.
I also, once again, we come back to that. This is another 25 points that you can spend instead of 25 points on Miguel, or instead of Spider-Man 1776's top 2 clicks for soldiers. All right, next up, we have a Hulk. Our first Hulk. Oh.
Black Widow other dial.
Oh, sorry, right, the Black Widow's other dial. My bad. I apologize. I actually haven't even looked at that one yet. So I'm like Tom. I'm cold reading right now. So, all right. So this Black Widow gets an extra click of life for 50 points, 4 range, 2 targets. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, I am. Okay. Itsy Bitsy Spider gives her sidestep and stealth for her special movement power on the first 2 clicks. And her special damage power is close combat, expert, and shape change on the first 3 clicks. Jay.
She is... I think she's a reasonable, casual Black Widow. I think that is a reasonable role. Dual targeting cap is cool. Reasonable mobility, 8 movement if you're doing a move action with the amazing Avengers team ability, inside step, stealth sense of shape change, close combat expert if they base. This is, if I'm reaching for a Black Widow, I know all my friends to hate me for playing one of the movie ones. I think this is a very reasonable version.
All right, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, she still does have the double rollouts, and she combines it with stealth. and a bit more offense potential with the versatility of in-cap if you're not in the mood for attacking. So, just fine, but not that special. She is regrettably outclassed a little bit by her half the points for not as much in the way of losses.
Yeah. All right. Now we have a Hulk at 50 points. Avengers, Brute, Monster, Keyword, Super Strength, Invulnerable, Battle Fury towards the end. We have that attack that changes towards the end, which, as Tom was saying earlier, like it's nice to have things to teach new players with. And this gives players an idea that, oh my god, sometimes it's not just the first click that's really good. Sometimes the last click has got some strength behind it. I'm not bringing this competitive play, but I'm bringing this to learn play. Tom?
Sometimes there's this ongoing debate in the Heroclix community about whether or not there's like a points calculator. Like it seems ridiculous these days with all the crazy stuff that we've seen to think that there might be. But then they release styles like this that to me prove that there must be a point calculator and it must be broken. Because this is a terrible investment of 50 points. Unless you're teaching someone how to play, you should be teaching them not to play this for 50 points. It really falls apart fast. Boy, I'm very unhappy with this Hulk, I'm afraid.
I mean, also note that the A dials, like the first dials that we look at for each character, those are the intended teaching dials.
I get it, but they can still have a place on your team. Like, there has been some Value Town in this set, but this is just Sadness Town, and that doesn't sell as well.
Jay?
This is unrelated, but I'm just looking in the evidence thread for the other dial, and I don't even see it. So that bodes well. Also, I don't know if Tom knows this, but I can make this worse. It's the Smart Hulk sculpt. Like, why? Why would you make Smart Hulk do this? It's like, what's with like they just are like Hulk looking different is arbitrary apparently.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Strange choice.
I don't know anymore.
Well, our B dial for the Hulk, 75 points. Avengers, Brute, Monster, has a special attack on his first 3 clicks, strongest one there is. Super Strength, when Hulk makes a close object attack, modified damage by an additional +1, which we kind of saw in the Fast Forces earlier. This one goes to Tom first.
Yeah, actually, this is pretty good value for 50 points, I would say.
This is 75 points.
No, that was a joke.
Okay. Oh, okay. That was intended joke.
Yeah,
all right, cool. No, as long as I'm still on the joke, and you, your blank face was great.
Yeah, that was a joke. But
it's Big Boss Hill all over again.
But I feel my point has been made. This is a pretty good 50-point down.
Jet.
I mean, all I have is I'm going to talk about comics again. So you have a Smart Hulk sculpt. And he gets stronger.
Where's that mute button? I used to be able to control this.
What?
Nothing. Carry on.
Stronger when he gets Battle Fury. That is the exact opposite of what it should be, and they know this because of how the last Smart Hulk looked. That is all that is worth mentioning for this guy.
I thought it's always been the case, regardless of his personality, that how stronger the angrier the Hulk gets, the madder he gets, or the stronger.
Yes,
he gets.
There was a period during the Professor Hulk period, though. If he got angry enough, he would convert into
he'd go back to
Savage Banner.
Yeah, he would get get weaker in the grand scheme of things, basically. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have the Winter Soldier. So the first one at 50 points. Is Assassin, Hydra, Masters of Evil, Soldier, Spy keyword, 7 range, Indomitable, this dial, Jay. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool, but
to find the dial. Honestly,
it's in the units section if you want to use that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I've been using.
Oh, I was scrolling through the stupid thread. I didn't even notice.
I mean,
honestly, like, it's approach. I don't know. The 7 range stealth. Like, I feel like it's within the realm of okay. Like, I think if you're looking at the shelves, I think this is probably second to the Captain America. Like 7 range, you could be 12-4. He doesn't have good guy keyword, so you can't get shield. That's a shame. But yeah, he's. If you give this to somebody and say, "Here is a sniper. He has stealth and range combat expert," that is a good starting point.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, and then they're like, so what's this purple power that he has for most of his last clicks. How does that help him snipe?
He turned into a wrestler.
I'm just being snippy. Again, it's the curse of they all must be 25 and 50 because this would be a pretty good 40-point dial. But it still is respectable enough. I'm just happy to see a 7 range. So I think I'm automatically put in a good mood by the unusually long range that they always seem to give the Winter Soldier. So, thumbs on the upward slant.
When you look at the Dial 1 design and the way they've kind of made it, it's definitely that move, don't attack this turn. Move, don't attack this turn. Attack now. That's kind of the way they seem to have built it. And this definitely falls into one of the better ones for the learning statistic. If it wasn't 50 points, if I'm taking it to a tournament, I'm less excited about it. But we move now to the 75-point dial. Still keeping the 7 range. Assassin, Hydra, Masters of Evil, Soldier, Spy keywords. Gets a special movement power in his first 3 clicks. Plasticity, Sidestep, and Stealth. Again, 75 points for this version. Jay. Wait. This is round to me.
Yeah.
And as we get to this is more of what I expect out of a playable version of Winter Soldier, and the fact that he can get out of that stealth and then move to the next piece of stealth without too much penalty because he's got sidestep to go with it. Plasticity, keeps your opponent handy nearby to deal with your 20 defense in close combat. It's a pretty well designed dial, but for 75 points, again, not bringing this to a tournament myself. It's just that different approach, but not fantastic. Tom?
Can't add to that.
All right. Jay?
So for the purpose of this story, we're going to use the name Timmy. So I'm teaching Timmy how to play. And it's like, hey, here's we use the first Winter Soldier. Here's this other one. So he has stealth still. He has a cool power called Sidestep. And then he has this power called Plasticity. What does that do? So your sniper can hug somebody really tight when they come close to him. And he has a 20 up close. I mean, in fairness, Plasticity to jump out of there.
Yeah, shoot it with RCE. I think it's perfect.
No, it's a kind of a funny power set. It's actually good. It's weird. It's just kind of funny to see Plasticity on a sniper.
It's more subtle when you think about the fact that if they base you, now I can sidestep with a +2 to my breakaway roll and then shoot you in the face with my ranged combat expert. I don't know if that's the intended use.
It's actively good. It's just funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, we hit the Red Skull at 50 points. Indomitable, poison across the board, starts with some Outwit, goes to some Perplex, Hydra, Masters of Evil, Soldier keywords. Tom?
Oh, sorry. I got distracted.
Going back to look at the Captain America, give me that Guardian Town, baby.
Yeah, I wish they'd made Red Skull 25 points just so that he could be a natural opponent for Captain America. That would have made a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
They did that with Baron Zemo.
Instead, he's just a bit unimpressive. Here is a 50-point piece that can't take a hit and isn't protected at all. No stealth, no defense power, no nothing. His idea of being well protected is outwitting you, I guess. And then he wants to get next to you. Boy, he's got a death wish. This is not a very good 50-point figure, I'm afraid, even for learning.
Jay?
I think he's been taking his own dust to death. For a 5-point dial, I don't think you can play for the 5 point. Oh, it's 50.
Fair enough. I got nothing to add other than this teaches players that poison is a thing. All right, so for 75 points, 5 range, 75 points, Indomitable, Hydra, Masters of Evil, Soldier keywords. He has special attack power on his first 4 clicks, Dust of Death. Poison, but damage dealt is penetrating. And then a special defense power on his last click, you cannot defeat me. Stop. First time each game, Red Skull would be KO'd. Instead, roll a d6 and heal him equal to half the result, protected Pulse Wave. And he starts with some Outwit and gets into some Exploit Weakness. Jay?
One second. This requires just 1 second. Oh, okay. So So you have a fun theme team because he has the Masters of Evil keyword. So you can play him with his stop click with Protected Pulse Wave and Claw with his extra energy shield for the redundancy department of redundant redundancy.
Come down with
this is technically a better doll than the other one, but it's just, I don't know. You just got to wait. Is the other one we just got also 75?
80. It's 85, I think. Let me double check.
I don't know. I just, you're not teaching anybody with this. It is 75.
It is 75.
This is not a teaching dial. I don't know. I don't think there's more to say.
Tom?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a kind of a missed it by that much dial because he's deceptively difficult to take out because you got to hit him once or twice to hit the stop click, and then unlike so many others, he doesn't just instantly heal. He stays there until he would be KO'd. So presuming you're not intentionally pushing yourself or you crit and miss, I mean, if you crit and miss, there's not much you can do about that, I guess. But anyway, presuming that you're not pushing yourself to it, you're forcing another hit that will instead heal him to take another hit that will hit his stop click to take another hit to take him out. And so just the way that's worded, unlike so many other stop and then perform a sort of an immediate heal, the Eddie Guerrero thing. Like we've seen how, it's not fair to compare because Eddie Guerrero has so many other good things going on for him and is less points. But even Eddie...
Eddie Guerrero's less points.
He's 5 points less than this.
Go on.
But I mean, I guess the point is that in this one respect, I actually like Red Skull's version of the stop click heal yourself thing even better than Eddie, because let's assume it takes 2 hits to get him on stop. It's going to take a 3rd hit to get him to a heal, a 4th hit to hit him to stop, and a 5th hit to KO him. So it will take probably between 4 and 5 hits under ordinary circumstances to get this guy off the board, and that's reasonable for 75 points. So then it's a question of, is he doing enough while he's on the board? And I think the combo of penetrating poison and either always having outwit or always having exploit is a nice little combination. I do think he's less than what you want, but we've been ragging on this set, and here is a piece that's maybe a little better than he seems at first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say he's a living legend in the fact that when he gets KO'd, he does heal back. I mean, unfortunately, it's not a trait, so there is the potential for like a starter set Doom or some of those other characters that have the ability to turn off stop clicks or protected outwit to kind of get rid of that power. But ultimately, like you said, he dies, he comes back, and there's a good chance you can come back to some of the useful poison clicks, and then you're going to get him back to stop click again. So overall, for 75 points, it's pretty solid. And when you have penetrating poison, I've always loved penetrating poison because if I don't have to roll to do damage, I'm a happy camper. I'm more plussed with this Red Skull than I am with a lot of what we've seen in this so far.
I think if they just turn that into sidestep stealth, huge difference maker for me.
Maybe. All right, next up for 25 points, Baron Zemo. It comes with 4 clicks with toughness, indomitable leadership for 2 clicks, perplex for 2 other clicks, martial artist, masters of evil, soldier, and thunderbolts keywords. Okay, so we get 1 click less than Captain America. We do get 2 clicks of leadership. We do get a little bit of toughness, and then some late dial perplex. In competitive, we're probably not seeing that perplex. But again, for 25 points on the values that we're seeing, I'm okay throwing this on my now Spider-Man family soldier keyword team. But ultimately, I'm probably still going towards the Captain America, to be honest, for the 25. It's not bad. It's for 25 points, what you're getting is reasonable. Tom?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got slightly different keywords, and so there's that. I like a world in which both he and Captain America exist at Value Town for 25 points. I think he's decent.
Yep. Jay?
You're not going to be happy if you compare everything to Captain America.
He's changed the bar. A new player is going to come in and compare to the Captain America for 25 points.
Yeah, don't give him the Brainiac. It'll be blown
I hate that you said the Spider-Man family thing because that was going to be my main. He's not easy to put down. It's not like there's 4 damage psychic blast happening anymore. It's for 25 points. The leader, I think that's actually a decent package. I feel I guess that other Winter Soldier, I don't know. I feel like if you're talking about just sheer, I think he's about on par with that Winter Soldier for me, as far as Value
Alright.
Town sort of tiers.
Thank you. Got to use the right terminology.
Value Town. All right, so we're gonna double up the points. Add a click of life. Give leadership and perplex at the same time at the beginning. And Indomitable, Martial Artist, Master of Evil, Soldier, Thunderbolt still. Tom.
I mean, I know that they dropped the damage because he's got blades, and that's a classic value move. But he's still got range. I mean, give him 3 damage.
Who's got perplex to fix that?
The other guy, whatever. He is. I'm not going to say he's better at 25 points because that would be overstating the fact. But an argument could be made that there are things a 25-point guy is doing that I like a little better than this guy at 50 as it is, and he is twice as expensive. I'm not going to do the whole joke like just play 2 of the 25 because that's almost always true.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, not really worth 50 points to me.
All right, Jay.
The combat values and the powers are weird. Like 2 damage range, sidestep, but then you have I don't know. It's like I don't even know. What? That's all I'll say. Just
all right.
What?
All right. Next up, Mach 10 for 25 points. Armor, Massive Evil, Scientist, Thunderbolts, keyword with Indomitable, 6 range, flies, mid-dial running shot, and
Perfect.
First click enhancement, last click enhancement. Jay?
So here's the thing. We're in a pandemic.
Just the way you said that is funny. Mid-dial movement attack.
So here's the story. We're in the middle of a pandemic. The stores are going to be out of stock. You're going to go to Value Town and stuff's going to be sold out, and this is all that's going to be there.
That's the challenge, you know. People aren't making as much money as they once were, so Value Town sales are even higher than they normally are.
It's a dial.
All right.
I'm not quite sure how you connected those 2 points, but all right.
Tom?
Hey, 25-point enhancement. Taxiing enhancement at that. Pretty good. Pretty darn good, because he's a nice tertiary or even quaternary attacker. Good value from Mach X.
Mike would have an aneurysm if he heard you saying Mach X.
I did it for him.
And you know, he's not particularly easy to shoot with all of his clicks having energy shield, so
Is he in fact a 25-point dial?
I don't know.
Is he a guy that is he really jumping 25 to 75, or could that be an error?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't have it on hand yet. It is on order. I'm going to get one.
Let me tell you, if this is 50 points, that's a joke.
Yeah. Well, okay, hold on a second. We got 2-click jump plus a lot of power increase in there.
I can believe it.
I can believe it goes from 25 to 75. So Mr. Jenkins, Abner, as it were, instead of just having some enhancement, his first 4 clicks gain enhancement and perplex, but only to target opposing characters, and some running shot. This goes to me, right? Right back around to me?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, here you go.
The problem is that price tag of 75 points. I'd rather we have a Mach 10 who I think I'd rather use over this one. And not being the one in the main set. This isn't a bad figure, per se. If this is like your starting introduction to your glass cannon, then sure. Understanding the value and perplexing down my opponent goes a long way as kind of a teaching. But once I find out that the other Mach 10 exists, I'm dropping this one and getting that one. Tom?
For some reason, just when I was reading the power, my mind just was like, enhancement, perplex, but only to target your opponent, who will be perplexed as to why this piece is on your team. That's my comment.
All right, Jay?
The sculpt is nice.
I believe he could be a 50-point figure at what we call the 25, because look at Captain Marvel at 50 points. It's very
Yeah, I
similar.
would.
Is it?
If this, I could legitimately consider this at 50. I will not lie about that. But also,
No, I mean, I think that the 25 one is at 50.
Okay, because you're comparing to what we're going to see in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I just love how the power is called upgrade but you can only like essentially down your like what do you upgrade? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know why I'm complaining about the most inconsequential things, but I think it's fun.
All right. Next up, Captain Marvel. 12 movement with charge from flight is indomitable with some empower to start. 6 range is 50 points. Avengers, Cosmic, Kree, and keywords. Tom.
This is not a very good use of 50 points, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Dies super easy. Love the massive speed. 13 movement to taxi your guy up, and hopefully they can make a free attack. And hopefully you weren't too attached to that 50 points.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
Jay?
Well put.
Awesome. Love it, Jay. I don't know if he knows if his bike
was
muted.
I think that silence is more than
Your silence was
deafening.
I'm gonna go to the doctor to get a hearing check now. Okay, so Captain Marvel moves to the 75-point dial. Avengers, Cosmic, Kree still. We gain the special movement power in our first 2 clicks. Higher, further, faster. Hypersonic. When Captain Marvel uses it and hits after resolution, she may use charge at no cost. And then she's got some late dial running shot with some pulse wave in there too. Jay?
what?
Jay, are you being silent on purpose again, or?
That was so high pitched. I literally didn't understand what you said.
I was just talking about the running shot pulse wave.
It's interesting for sure. When I see this piece, I see they play it one time, and then you pull out the Chase, who has the running shot charge. You're like, you like that? How about this? I was like, I mean, in and of herself, she's. I don't know why they all have the higher attack bar in the second. It's like, well, you crit missed. You had a higher attack. I don't know. She's. I would pay 50 points for this.
Tom?
Yeah, again, I wish it wasn't so expensive, because I love the idea of hypersonic in, whack somebody, and now auto charge. That is such a nice 1-2 punch. But the values are too low for it to be devastating, and the point value of the character is too high for it to be a meaningful strategy. So I just feel like we say that a lot today, and I feel bad.
I mean, ultimately, I think before we move on to Ultron, it looks like it's okay. Use the A dial, teach the player how to play the game with the rules as a basis, and then you give them the B dials, okay, we're going to jack up the power, and then the next stage is, here's some of my figures for a tournament. That's what it feels like right now. So it's stage 1, learn with the A dial. Stage 2, okay, so we now that you understand how to play the game, now let's pump up the power level, and so you can kind of start to build some strategies and build some ideas of how the game works as a whole. And then you kind of start to, in the meantime, hopefully they're starting to build a collection. That's kind of how I'm seeing this. But next we move to Ultron, 50 points, future, Masters of Evil, robot, ruler, scientist. Who gets first on this one?
I think it's you. Me? Good luck.
Yeah. I don't often say it, but this is one of those dials I want backwards. I mean, I don't even mind if I get those 10 attacks in the first 2 clicks with the prop, because I'll have the prop. But ultimately, this is one of those situations where I think what we're teaching the player, sometimes the powers you want show up a little late. And ultimately, I'm not bringing this to anything but that learner game. Tom?
Yeah, I also want the dial backwards so we can start on KO collect, and I don't have to worry about wasting time.
Jay?
I'm going to play the comparison game here. The Chase 50-point Ultron has the top dial prob and is better. It's I understand. Not everybody has everything, but it's literally the same character. It's literally the same sculpt. Actually, there's one thing I like about
comparing a
this
Chase
one.
to a starter set figure is a little harsh, though.
Okay, but it's literally the same points. Okay, sorry, there is one thing I actually do like. I like that it's a switch click because of all the old Ultrons that are switch clicks. You can play around with the sculpt if you want. That is actually a cool thing, and it is a cool Chase sculpt that is attainable. That is reasonable.
Yep. All right, so then we swap to the 100-point version, and we get 2 extra clicks. The prop up to the front, same keywords, but we lose will. Did we have willpower in the? we've lost Indomitable, or have we?
That has to be a coding error because it's the same.
I hope that's a coding error.
Everyone else has it.
I think it's the same physical dial. It has to be. A coding error.
All right, fair enough. And this one has a special move power that gives a phasing teleport, roll a D6, phasing teleport at no cost, but only to move up to the result. Tom, you can talk about this one.
Boy, oh boy! Play the broken record sound. It's another point. It's another dial that's overcosted. If you buy this starter set, you buy within this starter set, and everyone has to learn. This is a nice end boss. We'll give it that, right? Again, this goes back to the learning thing. For 100 points, this is intimidating. Big values to start with. He can move around for free, so you can't lock him down. Prob is super useful. Psychic Blast, Psychic Blast 4 damage is carving through your 50-point Hulk in one shot. So he arrives and makes his presence felt. So as long as he's played within that context, then I think that he's a nice end boss and a gateway into the larger game of Heroclix. So anyone who does, get into Heroclix this way, welcome aboard. This could be fun.
All right, Jay.
I'm going to go very positive and then funny negative. Honestly, this is one of the best here is your awesome, easy to get versions of anything I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
This is the common Ultron whatever, a lot of mobility, good reducers, unless you're facing Psychic Blast, also, wait, does one fly or one doesn't? Okay, neither of them fly. But yeah, honestly, but it's really funny. You can't one-shot Captain America. If you can even hit him. Hitting a 9 twice.
You can if you put him next to the 25-point Mach 10.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, it looks like, with the exception of the Captain America, I don't see a whole lot, and maybe the Baron Zemo, I don't see a whole lot that makes its way past your learning games with this. There will be the maps, of course, that will be usable in tournament play. We're going to talk about those next week. So hopefully those kind of stand out a little bit more to make the value there worth it. But it is hard to justify the entire package right now with the Captain America and the Baron Zemo. But that said, if you have a couple players who are on the fence, grab one of these, bring them over to your house, and try this out. There's a lot of value in keeping it simple for a lot of new players and then ramping them up. I've seen it firsthand at Dolly's. We've had a number of new players come in to the store, and just watching how they react to a slower ramp up to the game definitely has its own value, for sure. So.
I think it accomplishes what it is intended to do.
Yeah, absolutely. This teaches players how to play the game, and it keeps your power level low until you have that understanding, and then you crank up that power level, and then watch their faces go, "Can I do more?" and tell them yes. So, all right. That said, let's take a trip to Latveria and Aunt Petunia's house, shall we? And talk about a little bit of cartography. If you're going to see on the screen, we're going to be using the hcmaps.net version. We have 2 new maps, courtesy of the OP kit from Fantastic Four. It is the Latverian Village and Aunt Petunia's house. We're going to start with the Latverian Village. Both of them have location bonuses. So the Latverian Village, as you see on the map, all these little brown squares, that the blocking terrain, those are mapped as houses, but they are not elevated terrain. So get that out of your system now. But the location bonus for the Latverian Village is 5 points or 0 points if every figure on your team has a Latveria keyword. And it says, at the beginning of the game, choose a friendly character to gain Mastermind, but only to choose a friendly Latverian peasant. At the beginning of the game, generate 3 Latverian peasants in different orange squares. If the chosen character is named Dr. Doom, generate 6 instead. And then you put them each in these. There's orange squares that you can see on the map right there. The Latverian peasant. Let's see if I can get it right there. All right. 6 movement, 8 attack, 15 defense, 1 damage. It's nothing special, but it does have a trait. When this character is KO'd by an opposing attack, heal the highest point character on your force 1 click. So ultimately, the location bonus is to get a little bit of healing and some mastermind fodder for either your Dr. Dooms or somebody else. And then when we look at the map at Ladverian Village, this is Brainiac's nightmare. Because it's got a complete lack of elevated terrain, and it's got a lot of thin alleys for that are blocked with blocking terrain. Colossals still hate this map because it's outdoor, but your close combat teams seem to like it because of all the thin alleyways, and especially if their team is dependent upon numbers, you really start to create quite a few choke points in some of these places. If you have some kind of bonus that has water, there's a puddle in there, like there's a 4 square of water, you can take advantage of. Overall, I kind of look at this more in the location bonus, but also it's a tight fit map that I think is worthy of consideration for sure, especially if you see Brainiacs across the board from you and you want to completely hamper that one part of it. Though granted, if you're winning map against Brainiacs, congratulations, what did you do? How many Doombots are on your team? Those are kind of my initial thoughts on it. Tom?
Yeah, my first thought is just counting squares from all of the orange squares to make sure that they're within 6 movement of anywhere you could place a special object within 5 squares of your starting area on either side. And the answer is yes. So, in fact, there really is nowhere... Just checking to see whether this...
I already counted it, yeah.
Yeah, there is nowhere. Yeah, I did the other day, too. There really is nowhere you can place an object on this map that a Ladverian villager can't get to it on turn 1 and disrupt your opponent, forcing them to maybe do something about that villager and thus trigger your retaliation, or just have to figure out what their real priority is. And so, as a result of that, I mean, it's a particularly nice little map if you can figure out a Tri-Sentinel, because, again, your Ladverian or people are out stealing objects, and this is already a map where Tri-Sentinel does a lot of damage, and so not only do they have to be worried about taking out the Ladverian person to get their object back, but they have to try to worry about figuring out some way to do it so that they're safe from Tri-Sentinel. There's not a lot of places they can go that are that, and no one's actually safe from just the pulse wave part, but you know what I mean. Even setting that aside, I think that I'm always down with a map that gives you the opportunity to steal objects. That's one of the things that the Iceberg Land was so awesome for in the early days when that wasn't yet a really known quantity. And here's a new way of doing it. It also has the benefit of not only can you steal your opponent's objects, but you still have 2 more Ladverian people to go back and be mastermind fodder for a figure on your team. So I think it's a fantastic investment for 5 points. I do think that there are certain types of opponents or certain types of team builds that aren't going to be as well suited to all of this blocking. So it's you don't want it to be the only map that you pack, but it certainly has a lot of utility outside of specific applications. So I think it's a really nice addition to the game. I'm not a huge fan of the Constellation, but it's not completely useless.
Yeah, because the Constellation is only one Ladverian peasant that you generate.
Yeah, but at least you do get the whole heal the top point character when he's KO'd thing, yep. And it does have to be by an opponent's attack, but at least he can get up there and be annoying and try to force them to do something.
Yeah. It's like, attack me for my Lord Doom. Mm-hmm. Jay?
I mean, this is exactly what God Emperor Doom needed, right? Like he shares Mystical with the Tri-Sentinel. This is an awesome map. I mean, I'm assuming you're always playing at 100. This is an awesome set up a single target pulse wave map. I'm God Emperor Doom with Mastermind, because he already has also the combination of minions and do in general, the team ability, and hey, you killed my Ladverian villager. It's also like, hey, you attacked me, and then I masterminded and I get to heal as well. Like, just wow. For general, I mean, I guess the other 2 Dr. Dooms, I feel like you're not playing this on because they both really want the leadership, like either self-removing the tokens or the generate. But also, I don't think we quite have a map like this with this layout of terrain. Like it's not as bad it's not bad for the game like Kedge Maze, but I think it's a very, very reasonable map to want to play on in general, and the object stealing, or just like general tie-up.
Honestly, I think we've had a previous Ladverian village that was actually this kind of makeup with nothing but blocking instead of hindering or elevated for houses.
Also, you can just base your opponent in their starting area like so easily. Then it's like literally like what? what? So like what you can have Wendigos, you can have Mystical Connor for Doom, you can have Set. Oh my god, it's beautiful, and also
Yeah,
just
really
and
good.
that all that precludes just any character getting a mastermind. Can you imagine? Franklin Von Doom on his stop clicks. Like, good luck. Good luck with that mastermind.
I chose Franklin for my mastermind. I'm taking the damage. Why? Bro, now I'm going to stop taking damage. Oh, but then you can get him off the stop click. Because you do have to mastermind onto the Ladverian peasants.
Right.
Giving mastermind out to any character, that's lunacy.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Next up, let's go to Aunt Petunia's house, shall we? This is another one that's weird. Also has absolutely zero elevated. Has a lot of indoor-outdoor switching. And has a lot of every judge's nightmare. Windows and doors!
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other horrible thing. The indoor-outdoor blocking terrain.
The indoor-outdoor blocking terrain is also another nightmare. It's like so if my Colossal is behind the indoor walls and... yeah, no, I understand that one as well. Everything about this is a judge's nightmare. But it's an interesting map, to say the least. But I'm going to let Tom kind of get first dibs on this as I kind of disappear for a second.
Have you read the Constellation? Tom. I can if you want to.
Oh, sorry. I haven't read the... Let me read off the...
You disappear. I'll read it.
No, it's all good. Okay. I got this. Okay, so at the it's 5 points for Aunt Petunia's house, and there's no alternative like there is with the Latveria. At the beginning of the game, choose a friendly character. That character's minimum range value when using Outwit, Perplex, or Probability Control is 8. If that character's name includes Franklin or Valeria, the 8 becomes a 10. The Constellation, opposing character's maximum range value when using Outwit, Perplex, or Probability Control is 6. Okay, Tom, take it away.
Thanks very much. Let's get this out of the way right off the bat. The Constellation's better than the actual effect. So here is another one where I think you put this on your non-theme teams expecting not to win map so that you're locking down their Outwit, Perplex, and Prob range. Not saying that the 5-point map bonus is useless per se. I'm just saying the Constellation is really good. So I think that that's what you're going to most want to do with this map, which means that it's almost an exercise in futility actually looking at the map itself. But let's do so. Let's see all those nice long lines of fire you'll be able to draw. It's not that there aren't any, because there are lots of windows here, but there are also lots of blocked lines as well. With all of those enclosed spaces, it's not always easy to get at even 6 range for your Outwit and your Prob and your Perplex, let alone 8 or 10. So it's an odd map design to have this particular effect, in my opinion. Again, I'm not saying there aren't any. There are some weird angles given the way that all the windows are placed, so you may be able to catch your opponent by surprise. This is a pretty smart players type of map in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of places you can lock people down. There's a lot of different ways to control the tempo and pace of the map. It is one of those things where I feel like if you're actually wanting to play a map like this, it's maybe not worth the 5 points of it for that particular effect, unless you're paying the 5 points if you're not sure of the outcome and you do want to have the Constellation, which I would agree with. So I feel like a bit of a broken record in that respect, because I do think that the best thing about it is its Constellation. But as for the map itself, I mean, I think that it is lots of lockdown. It's often hard to see. There's so many ways to get hidden in the elevator or in the hindering. Amongst other things, you may actually just make some trouble for your opponents if they have a hard time dealing with hindering, because there's so many patches of it throughout. It's one of those maps that requires a real smart hand. So if you get the feeling your opponent's a bit of an amateur, maybe throw them on this and watch them squirm. Jay, what do you think?
I was going to say the lines of fire. Like, if you think that you're going to trip up your opponents with, that sort of... Like, I have a Tri-Sentinel, I'm going to shoot the blocking... Oh, no, wait.
Yeah. Quite strange.
So we lost Star Trek Underground, we lost WizKid's Office, or whatever. I think this is a reasonable, not horrifyingly bad for the game, like Ancient Holding King's Tomb alternative.
Agreed.
Like, I wouldn't say that I would prefer this if those existed, but I think this is a very reasonable, new option for that sort of thing. Also, because, there's the little rooms, but there is also a reasonable amount of, go out there and, do stuff. And also, like, if you're putting your opponent on this, you're not going to be able to steal their objects, so there's, like, sort of a give and take. And also, I feel like this shouldn't have to be said, but I like when a map actually has different sides, have different layouts, because I'm so sick of mirror things. But also, I already looked it up. There's no other Franklins. I couldn't find information if there's random comic book characters named Franklin. Until they make that kids TV show set of, I don't know, it's like a random whatever. Actually, I think Mike worked on that show. But yeah, I don't think the Constellation is better than Stark Tower, but it makes a really good case for itself. Like, that is a hell of a constellation.
Yeah, I think that depending upon what your team is most vulnerable to, there are occasions where this is going to be better for you, and just what percolates to the top of the meta.
Yeah. Also, worth noting is Stark Tower will rotate before this does.
That too.
I just don't see the location mattering, because like it goes to 8, like big whoop. I don't know. Like, I feel like there has to be something there, but
it could be one of those situations where you win the map roll. It's like, oh man.
But then again, so with all the stupidity of all the 10-point nonsense, I feel like that Justice League Batman team could be like what, plus 12. Like, even if you have a theme team, it's still theoretically reasonable that you could lose map.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It is crazy.
So, I'm like, it's not a bad one. Like, if you tell me I pay 5 points for that constellation, or, okay, I pick the map anyway, like, it's not a bad location. I feel like it's actually one of the more... I will say this for the map. I think it's one of the best actual maps, and also there's a location that is not useless, if that makes sense.
It does. It's a good way of putting it.
I feel like Gorilla Grodd is going to get a lot of use out of this map too because of the spacing on the hindering terrain.
That's interesting.
But I might be overvaluing that personally.
Don't forget that windows don't get shot out anymore.
Yeah, that was the thing that I had to explain to a couple players because I was still doing that for a while. And then this weekend, I was explaining, like, okay, so when you shoot through it, it breaks. Like, no, it doesn't. Not anymore. And don't even get me started on, like, adjacency on opposite sides of doors. Like,
I had this come up. Somebody had a ranged plasticity variant, and they thought that it worked through the door.
Yeah,
I wish I was kidding.
Cuts off the line of fire, and technically on either side of the door, you're not adjacent because you haven't moved through the door yet.
But also, range plasticity with windows is really fun.
No, stay. What's coming through the? It's coming in through the window. I'm just gonna.
There isn't a Mr. Fantastic with it, is there?
Yeah.
Aww.
I'm also going to take a quick second because I realized I messed up on the stream and didn't show everybody the Latveria village on screen. So here it is for everybody where the orange squares are. We weren't kind of just making things up as we go. Apologies for that. Right. So everybody has the visual for that. Aside from that, I know I'm personally going to try to use Latverian Village on a couple different variations of Latverian themed teams that I'm working on. Wish there was a way to give the Tri-Sentinel that you were talking about there Latveria keyword so I don't have to pay for the map. I'm just looking to get the map for free. That's all I'm looking for.
In begrudging the 5 points.
Pay your 5 points.
I am not paying that 5 points. I go for the Latverian way. Latveria does not pay 5 points for Latveria.
I love how you could be playing a team with a Franklin Von Doom and God Emperor Doom, and you legitimately don't know who to give the mastermind to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how good it is.
It's pretty solid. Okay, so all that said, two very interesting maps play out very differently. There are some arguments for where I would use Aunt Petunia's map without the location bonus as a map itself. As these guys already said, there's no, like, the location bonus doesn't really work for the powers that you want, especially with the map that we're looking at there. So, ultimately, there is still an argument for it. It's just, don't pay the location bonus if you plan on using Aunt Petunia's map, if you ask me.
I had one more thing. I just realized.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So if you play God Emperor Doom with the Latveria map, you steal their objects on the map, and then he has the trait where he says no to your equipment. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your equipment is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we're wrapping up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been somewhat distracted as I've been trying to come up with more Spider-Man villain puns of history, and it's actually harder than you might think. but I'll still let you know what I've come up with so far.
Oh, here we go.
It's a short list. It's 8. We came up with Kingpin Arthur, Sir Walter Shocker, as in Scott, Ludwig von what is it? Beetletoven.
It's kind of like Ninja Turtle villains.
Yeah. This is hard to pronounce. Reynold Reagan. Genghis Carnage. I'm pretty proud of that one. I feel like that could be real.
Genghis Carnage sounds legit.
Is that literally the name of a character from Kick-Ass?
Is it?
I think that's literally.
Wow. All right. They got there first. This one's a bit of a deep cut. It's Wood Rose Wilson. Rose. I like this one's. I like dumb. It's Nelson Hydro Mandela.
Oh, dear
And
God.
finally, Franklin D. Roosevulture. While I was at it, I couldn't stop, but also note Joan of Arcade, even though Arcade isn't really a Spider-Man villain.
He's an everyone villain.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin Richards and Charla Magneto.
Charlotte Magneto. So there you go, WizKids. When you ask for the next bout, you've got a couple starters there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this was a game. This could be fun.
I want to see Ludwig von Beetletoven in your next release.
Ludwig von... Wait, was there an Abner? We could just go with his real name? A famous
Probably.
Abner or a Jenkins... Oh, we could even go with weird video game puns if we really want to get out there. And Abner Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah. A good one. They're like, yeah. Who else is Jay? There was a Jay name that I thought of, and I couldn't think of anything for it. It was Jefferson. I guess Jefferson and Jenkins aren't that similar.
Yeah. Anyway, we are kind of hitting that wrap-up point. Anything else you wanted to go over there, Jay? Tom has already inundated us with spider puns.
Thomas.
I really wish I knew
Jefferson.
about this game. When did this game become a thing?
Earlier.
Somewhere around somewhere where I was describing Latveria, I think.
Okay, sure. I'll be on it for next week, apparently.
All right, so that said, I do want to take a second to thank our supporters over at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. You guys are very awesome. Look forward to our patron-only video very soon, and we appreciate all your support henceforth so far. Slight delay on the action tokens. We've got a fairly big action token order, not including aside from our usual here's the patron token sort of situation. So bear with us. There's going to be a bit of delay with our back and forth with Big Bully Games, but I'm excited for this. I've even lined up a little bit of noise to make for it because it's been a while as we enter the questions. I miss this little guy so much. Ladies and gentlemen, here it comes. Oh, that was supposed to start right away, and that didn't start, and now it's lagging, and now I look foolish because I'm going in. Ah! Hit the stamp, baby! Chris Stockhouse is back in the questions.
I don't see what's on the screen. I don't know what you were waiting for.
I don't know. Is this a thing that we don't hear?
You guys don't hear it. I had a DJ air horn. He wants to. He has an interesting one. First of all, he leads in. Put a stamp on it. Boy, did we ever! Your stamp, sir. Still got it. I'm sorry I haven't asked a question in a while. I'm hoping to get to see you guys in person again as soon as possible.
Me too, Chris.
Those borders, man. Title Doom is the basis of my question today. His -7 is nearly Faust-like. Does the Meta Lab have any ideas to help me keep him alive? Sadly, we can't get 6 peasants with him on the Latveria map. Miss you guys. Counterpoint, you can. You just don't choose Doom 2099 on it, and you have his friend, the 45-point Dr. Doom from over there, the uncommon slot, as your Doom to mastermind to. Bear with me, because now we'll get our 6 Latverian peasants, and now you can use them to just die, and Doom will be your high point character. There's other ways, of course. I'm just counterpointing his can't use the Latverian peasants. There's ways to do this. Hold on. And then, your uncommon Doom has the potential to create Doom bots, which you can use to then protect your Doom 2099, because I believe he has both Latveria and ruler keywords as well. So,
I would rather just do the mastermind and have 3 peasants.
Oh, I mean, that's an option. That's fully an option, yes. I'm just saying you can get... I was saying counterpoint, you can. It's just probably not ideal. But getting beyond that, there's a couple characters that get extra healing on armor characters, aren't there? Just off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Because if you're really trying to do it, that's part of the protection.
I think Modern Forge doesn't do it.
No, okay.
He has Scientist, and that Bev Crusher has free support if they were right. It's like free support beginning of turn if they were it. I can't something like that.
Well, there's also the Orville Claire Finn.
Yeah. There's just a lot of stuff. Yeah, Claire Finn plus Nersogawa, obviously. Yeah, good old Star Trek Orville health plan going on.
You always need a Nersogawa. Yeah, I mean, like, it stands to reason that you're probably going to put Remaker on him so that you've got a little bit of shape change to help out. Yep. If you're combining a Remaker with maybe some Mastermind from the Latvian village, but you're not likely winning map is the challenge. And if you don't win map, you don't get the Mastermind benefit. So I don't know if I would bank on that even with 3 peasants.
Yeah.
I think shape change is obviously your first good shot. Defend is always handy. I'm not sure exactly where, but there's a boatload of keywords there, so I would at least start looking in that direction.
Or Prez.
Or Prez, yeah, of course,
Yep,
Prez is great.
Prez.
And although Prez is not a 19 defend, thing is though, for some reason. Yeah, and I think the Doombots actually are a pretty good call. Certainly, whether you're generating them for free or whether you're doing something else with them. I mean,
paying 15 points for them, they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's too bad that like EarthX Read plus Doom 2099 is already an investment of 235 points because it's not nearly good enough. As much as I love those free Doom bots, so likely just better to pay for a couple of Doom bots, get some support, and then make sure the rest of the team is distracting enough that your opponent really feels the need to go after them. And just try to make it work. Unfortunately, I have to say that from my own point of view, so much of the game will have elapsed by the time you get to the -7 that you don't have the ability to really make use of the Faust-like application. So even if you could keep them alive, it's just a race against the clock, and it's not a race you're likely to be able to win. So I don't feel good about it, but that's where at least I would start.
Jay?
Yeah, it's interesting you said, like, I play tested with, like, I think Scott Crampton, like, always says, like, the game, you stop play testing once you get to 5 turns or whatever, and I think that's just, and, like, yeah, like, everything's already, either the game hits time or everything's already dead. I don't know. I think I like him more than you guys did, but I also think he's probably a really good Soul Gem candidate with, like, no, wait, still under Joseph stack like that. Never mind. I was like, you dual target all the things, but no. I was going to say something else. I can't remember what.
Oh, yeah.
He has a fair few keywords, though, so I think there's definitely something to be done there. I just don't quite know what it is yet. And also, I'm not going to ever get used to seeing Minions of Doom and a wildcard team ability.
It's going to take a while to get used to that one, that's for sure.
So I can wildcard 2 things? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like, no, you can't. Sorry, man. Yeah, I think we kind of covered our bases on that one. You're going to get stuck targeting the highest point character ultimately for highest efficiency. And that's the best we can offer up, I think. I think it's still worth some degree of investigation once I get my head out of that particular map situation. I still think there's a lot of potential to it. You just have to kind of work your way around it and find your ways to keep him safe, as it were.
Does he have Spider-Man keywords already, or no? I mean, he will. We just have to wait to get there. We'll see.
Well, he's got armor, politician, if ruler ends up being it, or scientist.
Right, I'm saying he doesn't have anything of that yet, but I think there's 8 chases, so it's a matter of time.
I feel like Leonardo the Venom will give him the scientist.
Yeah, I don't know what else it would be, so yeah.
It's going to be Leonardo the Venom, right? Is it, like,
to do the scientist one?
No, I mean, like, that's going to be what his name is, Leonardo the Venom.
No, it is literally, I believe it was in the solicit. Man, they stole that really good pun from you.
Yeah.
Bastard.
I mean, I think they led with it, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael Fedor wants to know if there's any updates or progress on the new series release of WWE Clix. I remember a list of who was in it being released, but I don't remember hearing anymore. It's just been a matter of wait and see when it's going to come out. I believe it's supposed to be next month. Jay usually keeps up to days. Is it?
I think it's. There's nothing releasing in August, so
okay,
I think
so
it. I think
we actually have month.
Yeah, literally, I looked it up. It was like, oh, we were supposed to have nothing in August. So yeah,
all right,
September,
cool.
I believe.
So September alongside Absolute Carnage. Cool. Can't wait to be super broke like I was with Fantastic Four.
Right.
And then an X-Men set for Andrew to get into the next month.
I don't want to talk about that. Wait, House of X is due in October after...
Well, it was originally a month. It was originally, in the before times, it was originally July, August, September for the 3 sets. So
Wowza.
That wallet, though.
Right.
It's a good thing that people aren't going out for entertainment purposes anymore.
You're going to have to put some mothballs in this thing pretty soon. My Ninja Turtles wallet. All right. Actually, that was it for questions this week. So, very short week in questions. Nothing in the live chat. Nothing in the Discord. So, here we go. Tom, thank you very much for joining me. Jay, good to see you back again, bud.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you guys for watching live. Thank you for watching us in the archives if you're watching there. Thanks to our sponsors over at MajesticCCG.com. Check out the Apex Insider, $3 a month. Get your brain dumps from the great players in the game of Heroclix, some of the great minds, occasional crazy mind. I have written a few articles for myself. I'm planning on submitting one very soon for them, so keep your eyes open on that. And yeah, so that said, also want to thank our sponsors our supporters over at patreon.com/Clix. Check that out. You get early access to our recorded content, as well as access to our Discord, and there's other levels as well above that $1 tier. So check those out. So, Fantastic Four is out. We've had a chance to play with it, and there's a lot of new stuff for new players to start learning. So it's time to start practicing teaching, because practice teaching will make those players better. Good night, everybody. I don't know, man. I haven't practiced to make your team better in a long time. Give me a break. Have a good night, everybody.